Everything that you do is being recorded and it's quantified and it's turned into data, and then somebody like me will be assigned to a project to create what we would call a predictive modeling of that behavior. And this can happen on an individual level, it can happen in a group level, a race level, a national level, any of that. And a lot of times they're happening on all of those levels and they're being compared against one another to see how a particular person would behave in a certain setting compared to said race or another race, etc. And everybody is different, but I'll tell you what my process looks like. So I would mostly use Bloomberg Terminal, Haver, and Federal Reserve. Bloomberg Terminal will tell you anything that you want to know, and I usually don't like to count out a single variable until my model tells me to count it out. So basically, with the Bloomberg terminal, I can pull almost anything, and I do mean anything, down to what a corporation is doing, where oil reserves are, people's banking information, literally anything. And I can test for so many variables at once. It could be 30, it could be more of those. And essentially, I will run multiple regressions to decide if there's any autocorrelation among them, which means that I would be double counting for things and considering too much of one particular variable. And so I'll throw those out. I'll kind of see, if the p-value, the f-stat allows for there to be a relationship between any of those variables. And if there isn't a relationship, sometimes this could take me anywhere from 5 to 40 tries to decide where the autocorrelation is fully coming from and which variables just aren't really strong in the model. That's just the very beginning though, because once I'm done with that, I then have to go on and do the biologic functions, which is a very long string of statistics that will give you one answer for every single data point, so every single participant that you are considering. So roughly, depending on if you're doing equal weighted or not, I'm just going to say rudimentary explanation. There are about 5 different equations that feed into the one answer. And then once you get the one answer for all participants, you feed it into the odds statistic. Once you have it in the odds statistic, it will essentially tell you how much you can expect someone to participate in a given activity, decision, anything like that, compared to whatever group you were comparing it against or its own self. Now, that is not the end, because unlike regressions, you still have to run your own error analysis on everything. So again, this could take months depending on the type of case or project that you're put on, because essentially there are about 10 different equations that you have to run for the error analysis, and you could be throwing out multiple different variables, and every time you throw out a variable, you have to rerun the error analysis. I am so particular about my results, so I will always run them at a 95% confidence level and a 99% confidence level, and see if the interval shrinks a little bit too much when it's at 95 compared to 99. But I really prefer only 1% error floor. Once I'm satisfied with the results, though, I will, record everything. I'll write a formal report on it, and whoever I owe that report to is whoever I owe that report to. But it will basically state that this entity or these groups of individuals will engage in this type of behavior when this stimuli is presented, and the odds of this existing over this is blah, 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 blah. The report could be 20 pages, it could be shorter, it could be longer. It really just depends on the case. But what you do need to know is that almost everything, and I do mean everything, is being quantified against you. And so when you think of like insurance companies, banks, even when you go like get a mortgage loan, or you want to move into a certain neighborhood, or you want a certain job, all of these things are using that data to decide the risk that you pose them, and if you kind of match up with the culture or the type of person that they want in that environment.